my plan was not to talk about receivers. I was trying to avoid my receivers at all costs. Especially when you look at Georgia and then bringing in two of the better receivers that are in the portal. Um,
And that is tough because that they got taken care of. And I think I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, Swain, to get a receiver like that, I mean, you have to spend uncomfortably, quite frankly.
yeah, but when you have Kirby and Kirby goes to the money and say, "Hey, I know this is a lot, but look at my track record. Look at my track record of number one winning. I won two national championships. We put dudes in the league, so I haven't had to rely on overpaying for a player in a position because we have developed these guys at other positions, and so you can't get into a habit of overpaying players in the portal because I mean unless you want to spend Ohio State money. And not everybody has Ohio State money. Ohio State is the most valuable college football program in the country.
When I wonder if Ohio State is having issues, I know they've picked up a bunch of players in the portal, but I wonder if because of all the reports of how much money they spent in last year's portal coming out over the last several months, I wonder if that has been frustrating for them to deal with this portal. Because if I was a player and I was in the portal and I knew what Ohio State was paying its players last off season, I'd be trying to cash in the same way.
I mean, I don't know how that's a problem. I guess who would be a
Well,
problem for?
because I mean it's like we've talked about in the past with Nico's number getting out there. Like that's not ideal for Tennessee because then recruits are going to come to you and maybe have unrealistic expectations of what they can get. And if they're not getting a number that they've heard about publicly, then for silly reasons, maybe they don't want to consider your school
Well,
anymore.
I mean, the market sets the price. That's kind of what's happening. I mean, and it's going up. Like quarterbacks, there's a market, there's a number, there's a range that quarterbacks are going to get. There's a range of what receivers are going to get, and some school may decide to reset their market, or a number of schools may decide to reset the market. It's like quarterback in the NFL. A lot of people were pissed off at the Cleveland Browns because they like reset the market when they went out and signed Deshaun Watson and guaranteed him all this money. And all the other quarterbacks was like, oh yeah, perfect, because I know I'm better than him. So if he's getting, just throwing out a number, $100 million, then I should be getting 102 or 105. And so that's what's happening, I think, now in the NIL world is quarterbacks are in a range. We heard Matt Rule in Nebraska mention a number, like this is what it costs to get a quarterback. And that was really like the first time we heard a coach say it costs X amount of dollars to get this player at this position. Um, a, a receiver of Noah Thomas and Zachariah Branch's caliber, we're talking 750 minimum probably. And if you're Tennessee, you're not doing that when you have holes on the offensive line. When you have Nico out here running for his life in the last football games and he had two of his helmets cracked. Like you can't spend that money in receiver. Like what you hope is that you take those receivers you got and you coach them up and you develop them and make them better. And if there's a guy that comes around that's really good in the portal and that number is not outrageous and crazy, maybe you consider it. But I think that's where we are. You got to put your focus on that offensive line to protect Nico, and you still got to get a running back.
It's
Still got to
there
get a running
there
back. So
there's a lot to be done. And I hate to be super critical, but I just don't think that Tennessee has done a great job of following the plan that it should have to take advantage of the Nico Iamaleava era. And I'm not at all suggesting that Nico can't get better. He absolutely can. He needs to develop as well. But in terms of surrounding Nico to set him up for the most success possible, I don't think Tennessee has done a good job of doing so at receiver, at offensive line, and at running back. So, um, hopefully it doesn't bite them too bad
Well,
this upcoming
well,
season. This
Tennessee
offense
got
is
an offensive
critical.
lineman coming, being a guard. So hey, we'll see if we can close
But
the
is
deal
that
there.
but yes, and again, I said earlier that would be a great addition. I would, not to get back to our grading scale conversation, but like I think like I'd give Tennessee a high passing grade for getting Wendell Moy and this USC offensive lineman in the boat if they could land both. I mean, I think you really bolster your interior of the offensive line if you're able to land those two. But my point is, like, even those two guys aren't enough because you have so many other needs on the offense. And going into year 5, when you have been trying to build to this point, Nico's third season, you should not have this many question marks and this many needs. They have not they just have not done a good job of preparing themselves for what should be a big money year for everybody involved.
I'm going to the phones. Ben's making me sad. 865-255-03. Good morning.
If Ben is making you sad, I'm not sure you want to take this phone call.
I'll take it, man. I can deal with new sadness. Ben is old sadness.
I'm going to expand on Ben's sadness. The plan to take advantage of Nico should have been put in place in 2022. This scrambling around in the 5th year trying to find multiple starters. It's not, a plug guy here or a plug guy there. You're talking about going to the portal last year looking for multiple starters, this year looking for multiple starters. And until a philosophy is changed and staff is changed, this is going to be Groundhog Day every single year for us. We have got to overspend in the high school ranks to get where we're getting in terms of a recruiting class. That's a fact. Guys are going to Georgia, Ohio, well, maybe not Ohio State because they're spending big in the portal, but out of high school, a lot of these high school kids are taking less to go there because of the development, because of the path to the NFL. Heupel, I guess, needs to kind of take a good hard look at where we're at because I think, Swain, you've been, probably more polite than I would have been. You definitely voiced your opinion, but I also think you nibbled around the edges a little bit. And the staff that we have on the offensive side of the ball, with the exclusion of maybe the tight ends coach, Ablin, is not getting it done. Period. End of story. Not getting it done.
Is it too early on Sims?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. I'm in first
I
year.
was impressed with what he did this year. Dylan Sampson aside, I mean, there wasn't much for him to do with Sampson, but Bishop was good
it's funny.
given the circumstances.
See, it's funny, Ben. What did Dylan Sampson do? Because if you go back to last year, high tight end production, he just had other guys to share the ball with. This year, he got the lion's share. So I'm not going to give Sims the credit for what Dylan Sampson did per se.
No, I'm giving him credit for Bishop. I thought Bishop, young guy, stepping in was fine, and even Peyton Lewis a little bit at the end of the year.
Yeah. Again, young guys want to see them with more opportunity. I know Bishop got hurt there for a while, so yeah, I think it's definitely a little early on Sims. So cut him some slack. But I mean, you look at wide receiver, O-line, because I mean that's essentially what we're talking about. The fact that there's not moves being made there, Heupel is either okay with it and thinks he can just scheme around it, or I mean, we have to have a hard question asked. Maybe he doesn't know what it really takes for those positions to be elite at this level.
Something is up, and it's got to be one of those reasons. because you didn't hit some singles and doubles and triples in the last couple of years, and eval recruiting and development, this is why you are in the position that you're in. I mean, it's hard to disagree.
Yeah, look at a Georgia. Why isn't Georgia spending big in on the offensive line? Like they went out and they landed the two pieces at wide receiver that they obviously thought they needed. But did they add any offensive linemen?
I'm unaware of what they've added on offensive line. I just saw what they added at receiver and the safety because of the relationship between two players, the brothers.
The safe, oh, the
Right.
that safety,
Yeah,
the other
right.
safety flipped to Florida. I thought you were referencing him.
Yeah, I guess where I'm going with this, you can kind of plug, a piece here, a piece there at a single position group. It's when you start doing it at multiple position groups, that's when it gets really, really pricey in today's day and age. I mean, look at what that kid from Northwestern got, over at LSU. I mean, that's huge money. And, I've heard a lot of fans online say, well, we just need to go ahead and pay that. And I'm like, yeah, but whatever you spend there is not what you're spending in total, because if you're just putting in that piece and someone else goes, well, how come he's getting more than me? He hasn't taken a snap here. I'm out the door. Now you're still back to the same number problem.
Yeah.
So whatever you spend, it's always at the end of the day, it's going to cost you more than what you think it is. It's got that domino effect. So, us kind of being in a position where we're potentially wasting a great talent, some stuff has got to change. Either start building for the future or start living more from the portal. But there is definite a lack of development at certain key positions that a quarterback damn near needs to be successful. Talk to you guys soon.
See you. Let's keep it going. 865-255-03. Yeah, that call didn't help my sadness. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, Turkey Man.
Hey, buddy. Hey, I was going to ask who's going to take Coots' place at center, and also I thought Sampson made a big improvement in how he played without the ball in his hands. Because what I've seen in the bowl game last year, he wasn't picking up blocks real well at all. But I thought he improved tremendously. I thought he was the best when he didn't have the ball in his hands, because he was actually one of the few people that's done pass protection. And but I was wondering about somebody coached him up, or he took on himself in that direction. I thought for me, I thought that was one of the big improvements for him. And also, I was wondering about who's going to play that spot for Coop, because he, we've seen what happened if he wasn't in there. But anyhow, I'll let you go and keep doing what you do.
I think Turkey Man. You think about Dylan Sampson. I mean, he was a junior, so he had 2 years of experience under his belt. So yeah, he was the best all around back, best pass blocking back, and when he didn't do a good job, he got replaced. And that's one thing that Sims did. Sims set him down when he put the ball on the ground, and set him down in the OU game when there was a blocking assignment missed. And so, but he is the best. I mean, when you look at the rest of the room, how can he not be the best? You have a ton of inexperience in that room, which is why you are in the position that you're in now with Dylan Sampson leaving, to have to add to the room through the transfer portal. As far as who's replacing Cooper, Satterwhite?
He seems to be the front runner on January 9th. We'll see if they add somebody who can play guard and center. I don't know if this USC offensive lineman can play guard and center. I don't know if Wendell Moore, the Arizona transfer, I don't know if he can play both. We'll see if they move one of the other young guys. There's a lot of positivity around Jesse Perry, and he seems pretty versatile. Do they try and move a guy over there like him? But William Satterwhite seems to be the leader in the clubhouse on January 9th.
Yeah.
I don't know if he redshirted this year. I would assume so. Surely he did not play in more than 4 games. So he'll be a redshirt freshman. If he did happen to play in more than 4 games, then he'll be a sophomore for those who are unaware.
Yeah. So a lot to figure out.
It just, I'm really not trying to be overly negative. It just baffles me that a redshirt freshman will be starting at center, the second most important position to this specific offense in the third year of Nico. That boggles my mind. And look, that's not to suggest that they can't be successful. It just puts a lot of pressure on your offseason development. And until this point, there has not been a lot of evidence to make you feel good about them making sure their younger offensive linemen are ready by the time you need them. And Brian Hunsucker does have a good message on the text box. I know the offensive line needs to improve. I know they need to take another step, but imagine the 10 to 15 years before Heupel and telling us that you want to fire an offensive line coach after 4 straight 2,000-plus rushing seasons. And I know the scheme and wide splits have something to do with it, but Ellerby does deserve some credit for that too. I mean, you're correct, Hunsucker. There's no doubt about that. I think, at least I'll speak for myself, I'm coming at it from the viewpoint of how can Tennessee take the next step. And Tennessee's offensive line has not been bad. It's been okay, but okay is not good enough. Average is not good enough. If they are going to get back to the playoffs, if they are going to host a playoff game, if they're going to win a playoff game and maybe go win a championship, the offensive line has to be better, and they need to take steps in a lot of ways. I think that's where the discussion is coming from. At least that is where it's at for me.
Well, there has not been one mention of firing the offensive line coach. There's not been one mention. Hold on.
Not from Ben McKee or Jason Swain.
Yeah, there has not been mention of firing anybody on this show. Now, there has been talk on social media, I'm sure, of fans wanting to fire Ellerby. Here's what Ellerby has done a really good job of. From a scheme standpoint, this is why Josh Heupel values Ellerby and says that he's very important to the operation there. From a scheme standpoint, he's done a great job of helping produce these 2,000-plus yard rushing seasons. Where Ellerby has not done a good job of is taking a freshman lineman, developing him, and putting him on a football field. That has yet to happen, and we're going into year 5. And you can only do what Ellerby has done up until a certain point. You know, I feel like we've kicked the can down the road. We got fortunate when this group came in. You had Darnell Wright. You had Jerome Carvin. You had Cooper Mays. You had Spraggins. You had some dudes. And then you got extra years for some of those guys. That kicked the can down the road. You can't kick the can down the road anymore because Spraggins is gone. Cooper Mays is gone. And now you have to replace guys. You're going to have a true freshman starting at tackle. You're going to have a second-year tackle who's talented, and Lance Hurd, you give him a ton of credit for improving during his first year starting at tackle, which you give credit to LB for, because Lance had a rough start as a tackle, but Lance Hurd got better. You can't deny that. He got better. And so you have an interior of the offensive line that is up in the air because you didn't do the best job of eval, recruiting, and development. So 2 things can be true here. LB has done a good job producing rushing success for Tennessee. He has not done a good job recruiting, developing, evaluation, and this is why you're in the position that you're in. If you have a coach that is not doing what they need to do as far as developing, when you recruit a player, it's costing you money. It's going to cost you money. Like, it's going to cost you at some point. It's going to cost you. Because if you don't nail it with that guy, because you got to pay for that guy to get him anyways. Like, recruiting classes, they cost money now. So if you pay a guy to come here and you missed on the eval or you missed on the development, you're going to have to double to fix it. Because you're going to have to get a guy from a portal who's probably more developed and can go to more places that will have more leverage and will be more expensive.
You just saw it with the LSU offensive lineman.
Correct.
Or the Northwestern offensive lineman that transferred to LSU.
Oh, yeah, he LSU offensive lineman now. But that is the most fair I can be and truthful I can be about the situation. So the solution is Ellaby has to be more complete. This is not Central Florida, where a mistake here and there won't cost you. The margin of error is so thin in the SEC because the competition is so fierce in recruiting, on the field. And so, is Ellaby bad? No, but he needs to be more complete and he needs to be better if we're looking to take a step forward. Because as we look at the offensive line, nothing about this current offensive line says this offense is going to take a step forward. There's zero evidence that supports better with the offense today. The good thing is you don't have to play today. You don't have to play tomorrow. You don't have to play next month. You have time to address those issues, but it's really hard to sit here as a Tennessee fan and get all hyped up and energetic and optimistic about what we're going to see on offense when you look at the roster. Like that is just the truth.
And honestly, for me, it's more about the past than necessarily what's on the roster, because you did upgrade your talent along the offensive line. It's just a little wet behind the ears. It's just the lack of development in the past is why I don't feel confident that all of a sudden these guys will magically begin being developed and getting better. But this is a huge offseason for a lot of coaches, but Ellerby and Pope as well at the top of the list. We will find out this calendar year just how good of an offensive line coach Glenn Ellerby is, because Lance Hurd has to take a massive step. If it is William Satterwhite at center, he has to be ready to play good football. And look, he'll have growing pains. He's an inexperienced offensive lineman starting for the first time. If he does, like, I'm not expecting him to play perfect, but he has to be competent. He can't be the downfall of the offensive line, for lack of a better phrase. And then, like, you got to have David Sanders ready to play. So between Hurd, Satterwhite, if it is him, and Sanders, we'll learn how good of an offensive line coach Glenn Ellerby is. And Josh Heupel is going to be proven, in my opinion, he's going to be proven right or proven wrong.
Yeah, I mean, there's work to do, and we had a conversation about the future of the offensive line and how there were some red flags, but I chose to live in the moment because I thought that was the most important thing. Like, why worry about tomorrow's problems when today, as a fan, like, your team is winning, you're beating teams, you're having fun. Like, that's not the fans' responsibility to be thinking about the future. That's the staff's responsibility. That's why you recruit 24/7 and you recruit for the future. But we kicked the can down the road here on this show to really, like, talk about this because we were winning. Well, here's the end of the road in the can, because the season is over, and now we're talking about the upcoming season, and I think you have a more clear picture of why there was some smoke about Nico looking elsewhere, and why Mike Matthews was a little concerned about Nico moving elsewhere and hopped in the portal. But both guys are back. If Nico completes this season and he doesn't go to the NFL, and the offensive line is the same, if not worse, what is Nico going to do after this season? That's something that, that's in the back of my mind. But hopefully Nico plays well enough to where he can take his butt to the league, and we don't have to worry about him playing on another team. So that's
I know what he's gonna do. I won't say it out loud. I know what he's gonna do if what you just said does happen. Because now it's a contract year regardless for him, right? Did he sign a 3-year deal out of high school?
I don't know. Yeah, because that was a plan for him to be here for 3 years. But remember, he's about to go somewhere else, or people.
Was a year
people.
added on.
I wouldn't say he's about to. That's probably the wrong verbiage. Teams were tampering with him.
Yes.
And so, if teams are tampering with him, and I don't know this, did Tennessee rearrange his deal? Did they change his deal? Did they add another year? Did they add more money? I don't know that. Listen, there's things I don't want to know, but I do wonder that.
Well,
and it's hard for me to believe that Mike Matthews is playing this year on the same number he did last year.
Oh,
and I would say, why would he play for more when he only had 9 catches? But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, and it ain't my money.
But also, like, Tennessee, you put yourself in that situation when you don't develop other guys. And even if he only had 9 catches or whatever it was, like, Mike Matthews was correct in being worried about the future of the offense. I don't blame him for feeling that way at all. So Tennessee, by putting its offense so much in question, like, you have to end up giving a little more to a guy who maybe uber talented but only had 9 catches.
Yeah.
To ease those concerns. Like, to me, I put that on Tennessee, and I think you are as well.
I get it, yeah.
But the point being, like, this is a contract year for Nico one way or the other, because even if it doesn't work out to where he is off to the NFL after this year, he's going to play another year of football, whether it be at the next level or whether it be in college. And the last thing Tennessee wants is for Nico to not work out at Tennessee in some capacity. That would not do you very well long term.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, these are things that I think all of us as fans think about. Like that's the thing about being a Tennessee fan, is when you're not in season, you're still thinking about Tennessee football, and you're having like what if moments, and it's hard not to think about what could possibly happen, and good or bad. It goes back to that point I made about Mark Jefferson. Like, you tell yourself, oh yeah, he's a missing piece, and he's going to do this and that when he comes in, but you don't really know that. That's just hope, and that's part of being a fan, and that's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with being hopeful. I'm hopeful that we can get it turned around. With the evidence in front of me, I need to see a little bit more. That's all. All right, let's go back to the phones, and then we'll have to take a time out. Good morning.
Hello. How y'all guys doing today?
What's up, man? Who we talking to today?
This is Rodney from Austria.
Rodney, what's up, my man?
Quick question, just out of blue. Are we not running our offense because of Nico?
I don't know what our offense is right now.
You know, because the offense that we saw in the beginning was scheming people to death, but we also had the, hey, we got to run the quarterback at least 5 to 10 times a game. We don't run like we used to. But I'm wondering, do we not run that because we're trying to protect the Golden Boy?
Well, I have thought about why the offense looks different and what has changed. Two things stand out to me. Henry Hooker's not here, and the offense coordinator, Golish, is not here. Those are the two things that are different, like significantly different. I know Hyde's not here. I know there's some other guys that are not here, but we talking like what really moves the needle is usually the coordinator and the head coach. Excuse me, the coordinator and the quarterback. And those are the two most significant things to me that have changed. Because like,
Well, so the thing is,
because you don't even see the attempts, the same play designs as you saw in 2022. Like they can be unsuccessful, but we don't even like see the same setups or the same attempts. That's weird to me. I don't know that answer, Rodney. I really don't.
and the reason why I asked that, Hendon was a transfer, and we were trying to get it going. He didn't have no money. He didn't have a particular price on his head. Nico comes in. Everybody wants him, and he knows he's got a pro career, but he's not running what made. We went fast like Ricky Bobby since 22.
Yeah. Is
And
it
the
something?
Ricky Bobby offense was the reason why we was catching people out of position. We was running switch routes. We were running quarterback draws, quarterback trap, quarterback lead. I don't see that this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that answer, Rodney. I don't know if because what we've heard is Nico's intelligent. That he can handle the offense. But if he's intelligent and he can handle the offense, then why you're not running the offense that you use to recruit him? That's the thing. Like, if I'm Nico, if I'm Mike Matthews, I'm a 5-star caliber guy. I was recruited based on the film from 2022.
Right.
Where is that? Because, like, I remember being recruited. And I remember watching Alabama's offense with Dennis Franchione, and they was running option and do all this weird stuff with the receivers. I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to be in that offense. And I watched Tennessee's offense. I watched all these others' offense. Like, I wanted to play in Florida's offense. Imagine if I would have gotten here and Tennessee completely changed the offense. I would be feeling a certain type of way. And I think Mike Matthews and Nico are like, wait a minute. Where's the 2022 offense? Like, where are those opportunities? And I think those. Huh?
But that offense was also based on that. Hey, it doesn't take a smart quarterback. It just takes he said an offensive coordinator is hyper, so he can't just call a similar package.
Hey, defense is better now, so you don't have to go as fast because you don't want to put your defense at a disadvantage. I think that's part of it too. I think there's a couple of factors, but for me, I don't even see the same play designs. Whether you go slow or fast, I don't see the same switch routes like you just mentioned. I don't see the same designs, and I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why.
Well, I'm gonna get off the phone and listen because that means it's just like we're not running anything. And when Hypo got here, it was like, hey man, at least we see somebody that's gonna scheme somebody up and they're gonna be wide open. I mean, he schemed people up this year, but we either dropped the ball or overthrew them. So I don't know. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm just gonna listen to you guys.
Yep. I mean, there's a couple different factors. I mean, one could be about the offensive line too. I mean, maybe you don't have trust in the offensive line.
My personal opinion is that is a large portion of it is that you don't trust your personnel at offensive line and at receiver. And that's not at all excusing Nico of blame. He had his moments as well where he did not help the cause. And I mean, it's hard. The further we get removed from Golish and the less it looks like that offense when he was here and more frequently from game to game looks less like that offense. It's hard not for that thought to creep in your head of because at the time it was okay, you're losing Alex Golish, but but you still have Josh Heupel. It's Josh Heupel's offense.
Mm-hmm.
Heupel's continued to call plays for the most part the last 2 years, and we're not seeing the same creativity. And honestly, the creativity doesn't really have anything to do with calling plays. The creativity comes throughout the week. What's happening during the week that you're identifying on film to where you implement those plays? It just seems that is lacking, and that falls at the feet of Josh Heupel and Joey Halzle. And here's another thought, something that popped into my head listening to you and Rodney talk. How and where is Joey Halzle at in his quarterback development? Should Nico have been further along in his development this season for a guy who essentially redshirted his first year, which he did, but had a year where he was supposed to learn the system, get better. He had an entire offseason to himself, and the personnel around him did not help. But as we have said multiple times, Nico is not without blame as well. Should he have been further along this season in his development? I mean, I think that's a fair question to ponder as well.
Yeah, I feel like Nico's got better throughout the season. I mean, I saw it. Like, I saw his improvement.
Yeah.
But could everybody
But
be a
was
little
it
bit better?
where he
Yeah.
should have been?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair question to ask. I think you could see the improvement from game to game. Here's another point I'll bring up. Out of 133 teams, where do you think Tennessee was ranked as far as sacks that were allowed? 2024.
Closer to 100 than 50.
89. 2.3 sacks per game. Is that, some of it's on a young quarterback, maybe missing a read, maybe running wrong. It can be, it's not always on the offensive line. But this is a concerning number when you look at all the experience that's on the offensive line. And now you're about to go a little bit younger. So Ellaby this number has to be better for Nico. Like, I saw Nico's dad make a post on Twitter. Was trying to joke, but I think there's some seriousness in that tweet talking about how he'll play offensive line and play receiver. Yeah, it might have, the intention was probably to be funny, but I don't think he said it to be funny.
You know where jokes stem from.
The truth. Because you know folks be like saying stuff, and then depending on how you read, they're like, oh, I'm just joking.
Yep.
Yeah, like, I don't think Nico's dad was joking. I don't think Big Nick was joking. I think he said that for a reason, which we're all thinking it. I mean, we was all thinking it too. So, it is what it is, man. You just, at the end of the day, staff know what they got to do, and they can't be upset that we out here talking about it, because the reason why you are in the position to get paid what you're paid and coach on this platform is because of the care level that is here with the fan base. I'm not the only show. Everybody's talking about Tennessee football. There's an interest with Tennessee football. It wasn't an interest like this at Central Florida. It's not an interest like this at South Florida. There's not an interest like this in a lot of places. And so this comes with the territory. This is the first time in 4 years where we've said, guys, what are we doing? This is the first time.
You have to adjust. I mean,
this is the first time.
I mean, part of being a coach is adjusting. Teams begin to figure you out. I think that's something that has led to the lack of explosive plays and the lack of tempo as well. I think teams have gotten better at defending the offense.
That should be the case. That should be the case. There's no offense where you should be figured out. Like, come on. Look how long Brian Kelly has coached. Look how long football has been going on. Look how long Steve Sarkisian has been coaching. Like you don't figure people out. You just do what the defense allows you to do. I mean, that's what they can't stop it. You can't stop everything.
But here's the thing with what you just said. They don't do a lot.
I'm taking a break. Leave me alone, Ben. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. I really want to talk basketball, but my goodness, we're gonna talk about. Oh yeah, Texas the next game. Texas next game. We can't talk about the Florida game. We gotta just burn that tape.
Lady Balls play Kim Mulkey tonight.
Oh yeah, what is Kim Mulkey gonna wear? Swain Event. Be right back.
You're listening to the Swain Event.
And you know this, man.
Fellas, there's a lot of people talking about testosterone, but do your homework and go to a provider that you can trust. I recommend Low T Center. It's where I get my levels checked. At Low T Center, they make it quick and easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and you'll get your results back in about 25 minutes. If you've been feeling tired, grumpy, have noticed weight gain, loss of muscle mass, you may have low T levels. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Chevy truck season at Beatty Chevrolet means save on a new 24 Chevy Silverado 1500. Now $10,000 off MSRP. Plus 1.9% APR financing. Plus no payments for 90 days at Beatty Chevrolet in Knoxville.
What's up, Swain Event crew? Always happy to be with my friends in the morning. So, everybody has a next chapter in life, right? And sometimes that includes a move. Your next page may have a growing family, or maybe an empty nest, or possibly a move back home. When the time comes, I'll be here to help. Just give me a call. Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-694-5904, and check out my website, nextmovesmokymountains.com. As always, go Vols!
Looking for a different way to enjoy the show?
Yes!
Then check out Swain Event TV on YouTube.
Good morning, Swain Event family. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. Thank goodness it's football time in Tennessee. When the Vols do well, Knoxville does too. There are so many great reasons to fall in love with East Tennessee, and if you're making a move to the area, I'd love to help you find your new home. Just give me a call at 865-694-5904 or check out my website at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols!
Fellas, there's a lot of people talking about testosterone, but do your homework and go to a provider that you can trust. I recommend Low T Center. It's where I get my levels checked. At Low T Center, they make it quick and easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and you'll get your results back in about 25 minutes. If you've been feeling tired, grumpy, have noticed weight gain, loss of muscle mass, you may have low T levels. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Just because you can't call in doesn't mean that you...
top 100 barbecue restaurant in America here on a cold Thursday. At least it's Thursday, Ben. At least it's getting closer to the weekend. At least we're doing
Playoff
that.
Game.
Say that again.
It's a big weekend. We get playoff games for the next 5 days.
We
College
do get
football playoff tonight, college football playoffs tomorrow night, Saturday night, Steelers play the Ravens in the playoffs, and boy, am I in a conundrum. I have run my mouth year after year after year after year about Lamar's lack of playoff success, and boy, is it coming to a head this year. My team does not make me feel good about my hopes and dreams going into Saturday night. Hopefully they can pull off a miracle. If anybody knows Lamar Jackson, it is Mike Tomlin. So and then we get playoff games on Sunday and Monday too. So a great football weekend coming up. I am excited to see how Tennessee basketball responds at Texas. on Saturday night. They should respond well. It is on the road. I was surprised to see Texas mount a comeback against Auburn and have a chance to win that game. They're at the buzzer because Auburn had a silly turnover.
Playing at home.
Yeah, but Texas, I don't like Texas's roster. I don't think Rodney Terry's gonna make it out of there. Lucky for him, everybody's focused on Texas football.
He ain't gonna make it
at the moment. But that's a game Tennessee should absolutely win. And I'm not saying they need to go win by 30 or 40, but they should handle that game as well. And I would expect them to have a nice bounce back. They're actually going to head out to Austin tonight. They're going to get there early with the anticipation of the weather that's coming in tomorrow. So they're going to practice early afternoon today and then head to Austin. So they're going to be there for quite some time, longer than normal. I shouldn't say quite some time.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Austin's a great city.
Yeah, but hopefully the players are not enjoying how great of a city it is and are focused on bouncing back from that Florida loss. You got the Lady Vols also looking to bounce back from a loss. So it's going to be a good sports weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Tuesday.
I think I'm looking forward to it.
What'd you say?
I said I think I'm looking forward to it at least.
All right. I mean, yeah. We'll see. We'll find out here in a little bit. All right. So Tuesday happened. It wasn't good. Nothing good about the game. You couldn't make a shot. You took good shots. You played hard. Like, I don't think this is any reason to freak out after one game, even though it was a blowout. But you couldn't make shots. The effort was there. Florida had the intensity. Florida really had the advantage in the post, and they make shots. And sometimes that happens. Tennessee is 14-1. Tennessee, it's a big surprise really to everybody that Tennessee landed as the number one team in the country this early in the season with all the new pieces on this basketball team. So, disgusted. Yeah, be disgusted in watching that game. I didn't watch the end of it. I couldn't. It hurt my heart to see Tennessee down by that much. I don't know what Darlington Dubar was doing. I mean, get on the plane, man. Get out of there. Stop making the game longer. And then it was a 28-point game. Why are you fouling, Darlington? Just get out of there, man. You made it 30 points. Like, what's he doing? Man, what was he doing, man? Even Mason was like, bruh, what are you doing?
That made it the worst loss in program history, or not in program history. It made it the worst loss of the Rick Barnes era. It was, if it would have been a 28-point game, it was just going to tie the worst loss. Remember in 18, the Grant and Admirals team went to Tuscaloosa and just got whooped. I was at the game, unfortunately. Yeah. And Tennessee lost by 28 that night, and then the Kentucky loss in Lexington in 2022, they lost by 28 as well. So that Darlington Dubar moment at the end of the game made it the worst loss.
It's like being on the phone with somebody and like you trying to get off the phone and then the other person brings up a whole new topic. Yeah, man. So, all right, man, I'll talk to you later. Yeah, okay, I gotta go. But hey, man, when's baseball season start? Oh, then we gotta talk a whole nother 10 minutes. Like, Darlington, get off the phone, bruh. Get out of there. Like, why you want the game to be longer?
It was an ugly night for
it was
Tennessee.
ugly.
I thought, and here's my thought has been real simple, honestly, and maybe they'll look silly for me brushing off that performance because I have brushed off the performance, not excusing it.
Yeah, you have
not saying that there aren't concerns moving forward. We talked about it on Tuesday morning. Like, I wondered if Tennessee was going to be able to handle the physicality of Florida Center, and they weren't. And that's going to be a concern moving forward. That was the first game in which you really felt the loss of JP Estrella, because JP is 250, 255. His physicality matches up better with a big body post player like that more than Felix Okpara. Now, Felix Okpara, he will fight. And I actually thought Felix played well. based off of how he had been playing, especially in the first half. I thought he did some nice things on the offensive end. I thought he was more active defensively. He had that nice block on the perimeter on the 3-point shot. I thought Felix held his own. I just think I'll take strength over the length in most instances, and we've seen that be an issue for Tennessee the last couple of years. Tobe, if he could have ever stayed out of foul trouble, he would have been a big boost for Tennessee in that regard. But I will give Felix credit. He doesn't shy away from the physicality like Jonas did, but it's just he could not hold up from a strength standpoint. He was beat at birth is what I'm getting at, regardless of how much effort he gave. So that is a concern going forward. But Swain, I'll be honest, I have brushed off the performance for the most part. I did not like how Tennessee went into a shell after the poor shooting start, but I just thought it was one of those nights that where you just weren't making shots. And everybody's blaming. Of course, everybody comes out of the woods when Tennessee loses the basketball game.
Dude, ain't that annoying? Ain't that annoying?
It's not annoying. It pisses me off.
Ooh, Ben.
It's
why you so mad, Ben?
Because it's every time Tennessee loses a basketball game or is losing a basketball game, people who you do not see comment, people just come out of the woods talking about how Rick Barnes is awful, Rick Barnes this and that, this basketball program this and that.
So annoying.
And it's the lack of respect for the program is just baffling to me.
Yeah.
And like I just don't like I understand that most people are just football people, and that's perfectly fine. And they will tune in to watch basketball because Tennessee is across the chest. But I don't understand how you forget that the team that you are hating on has Tennessee across the chest. Like I understand being emotional and being upset, but the overreaction is ridiculous every time Tennessee loses a basketball game. There are 30 games in a season. There are going to be games in which Tennessee cannot miss. There are going to be games in which Tennessee cannot make a shot. It's the ebbs and flows of a basketball season because of how fickle shooting is and can be. I watched the Grizzlies beat the Warriors by 52 points in the middle of December. Golden State looked like they had never played basketball before in their life. Steph Curry had the worst shooting night of his career in Memphis in the middle of December, and they played on Saturday night, and Golden State couldn't miss. The same team that Memphis beat by 52 points. Draymond Green could not miss. Draymond Green looked like Steph Curry out there. Like it happens in basketball. It's frustrating. It's annoying. But why do we have to kill Rick Barnes in the basketball program every time they lose a basketball game? Dude. It's ridiculous. And the effort thing drives me just as crazy.
Nothing was wrong with the effort. Nothing was wrong with the effort.
Oh,
yeah.
Just because they are playing poorly does not mean that they don't care or are not playing with effort. Not playing with effort in basketball looks like not diving on the floor for loose balls, not contesting shots at the rim, not trying to get in the face of somebody defensively. And Tennessee was diving all over the floor and playing with a ton of effort. They just weren't playing well or playing smart at times, and it happens in basketball. And again, so that's kind of why I brush it off. I just thought it was one of those nights in basketball. What was disappointing, though, was after those first 10 minutes or so, they're actually playing good defense. An explosive Florida offense only had 12 points midway through the first half, but Tennessee got really frustrated about missing shots, and the defense and the rebounding slipped because of that. To me, that was the most disappointing. Those are some old bad habits that popped up to where they let the defense and the rebounding slip, and they started to stand around and watch Chaz play like they did with Dalton at times last year.
Dude, you said a word. So UConn last year won the championship. UConn last year won their second championship. Last year, they got the brakes beat off of them by a team that Tennessee beat in the tournament, and that was Creighton. You know why they got the brakes beat off of them that one day? Because UConn shot 18, 19% from three. And Creighton shot 50% from three. 50% compared to 19%. And UConn lost by 20 points, okay? UConn lost another game early in the season to Seton Hall. Seton Hall last year. Anybody see Seton Hall in the Final Four, Elite Eight, Sweet 16, making a run? Did we see that last year? We did not. Seton Hall last year shot 38% from three in the game, 52% from two in the game. UConn shot 19% from three that day, and Seton Hall beat UConn by 15 points. 15 points. So games like that happen. Now, was it ugly? Yes, it was ugly. We lost by 30. But when you don't shoot well, but you still play hard, you diving on the ground, like effort was never an issue for me watching the game. And then when Florida's making everything and they're doing their thing, that's what's going to happen. Now, I recognize, you recognize, and that's okay, that this is a football town. And that's cool. What kills me is we have football fans who are not really basketball fans, don't really like basketball. But when Tennessee loses, now they basketball analysts. Man, sit down somewhere. Tennessee football never looked like a championship team outside of playing past NC State. Never looked like it. We was like, the defense is good. Maybe the offense come along. Next week, maybe the offense come along. Next week, man, defense is good. Maybe the offense will match the defense. I mean, goodness. After the Georgia game, we were done talking college football playoff. We thought our hopes were done. We needed help to get back in it, and we got that help. But folks didn't kill football like they're killing basketball after one loss, after being number one for 5 freaking weeks. But that's the bias talking sometimes, where folks are not basketball fans, but folks feel like because you're a Tennessee fan and everybody else is talking about it, then I guess I gotta have a take. You don't have to have a take. You can just shut up. You can just say nothing. Because it's not going to sound right. It's going to sound like someone who doesn't like basketball and doesn't know basketball. So just don't say anything. That's what happens. We get a bunch of people who don't know basketball, who don't like basketball, but feel like they have to have a take because everybody has to have a take, and it doesn't sound right. It's the most crazy thing ever. Rick Barnes with how many new pieces we got? 4 or 5 new players from the portal?
4 from the portal.
Was number one for 5 weeks. Like
after losing the SEC Player of the Year and the guy who would have won the National Player of the Year if Zach Edey didn't exist.
What are we doing here? So let's not overreact. Let's think about what we say before we say it. Let's see if this is a trend. Like if Tennessee hit a wall, and this is the first sign of hitting a wall, and we thought this team was this, but they're not because Florida exposed them and they never got back to the level of playing like they played against Arkansas. We can have that conversation when we get there. But we ain't there yet. This is just one game. Let's see what happens moving forward.
I don't get there is nothing wrong with just preferring football. Nothing wrong with that at all. And we all recognize what Tennessee is. It doesn't even really need to be said. I do get paid to write about the basketball team and the baseball team first and foremost. That is my job, along with helping our football writers with football where I can. And I am somebody who does enjoy all sports, but I recognize that is not for everybody. And in the South, most people are football people, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. I wanted to get into sports journalism. I messaged Swain in 2016 about interning for him and Seth Stokes because I loved SEC football. Like baseball is my favorite sport because I grew up playing baseball. But in terms of entertainment and me as a sports fan, it doesn't get better than SEC football and college football. And that is why I got into it, because I wanted to be around it and talk about it and cover it. So I recognize that not every sport is for everybody. Not everybody's going to love all sports like I do. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. So it's not even that baffles me. It's the fact that even if you really are just a football person, at the end of the day, you're a Tennessee fan. I don't understand how you can be a Tennessee fan or a fan of any school and university out there and hate on another aspect of the school that you root for. That baffles my mind. How you can have so much pent up frustration and energy against a program that is within the overall brand that you root for. That's the part that's baffling to me. And what's also baffling for those who are on social media is like the players and the families and the coaches and the recruits all see the things that y'all say on social media. And not saying that just because they're on social media that you don't have the right to voice your opinion. You do, and you can be critical. It's just the talking out of the side of your neck applies, and right or wrong, like that morphs people's opinions on things. So it's just baffling to me how you could call yourself a Tennessee fan even if you're just really in it for football, but then throw so much hate and shade towards the basketball team. It baffles my mind every time they lose.
Yeah, like I don't like baseball, but I love Tennessee baseball. And like I don't that would be like me when they lose a game. Like, oh yeah, I got one. Remember like at the beginning of last season when they lost a game they were supposed to? What game was that? Was it in Houston? It was a neutral site game.
It was Arlington. They lost to Oklahoma, maybe Baylor. I think it's Oklahoma. I'll have to look it up.
So imagine like losing a game poorly or a game you're not supposed to, and then here's me coming along. Oh man, I'm over the top with my criticism. Like,
yeah, they lost to Oklahoma 5-1 in 10 innings. The good example for you with baseball last year was them losing the first weekend of SEC play at Alabama.
Okay.
Everybody was freaking out. They did not lose another weekend series the rest of the season and went on to win the national championship.
That would be a good example.
Or even the freak out after the Evansville loss. Everybody was mad as all get out after they lost game 2 to Evansville.
Are you talking about in the playoffs, in the postseason?
Yeah, in the tournament.
That's tough.
It was a little bit different, of course.
Yeah. But like the thing is, no one on campus runs a better program than Rick Barnes.
Well, the guy who just won the national championship does.
I'm talking about like as far as I know that. But as far as evaluating talent, you don't have drama going on with NIL. Like there's been drama on every team. The 3 major men's team, there's been NIL drama that has affected the team. Okay? Rick Barnes has not done that, has not had that. Like guys get paid, they get better, they develop. You got guys going to the pros. You got this team competing for championships. I know Tony Vitello won a championship. I get it. But, like, Rick deserves the same amount of love, support as Tony Vitello and Heupel. If you had to rank them, it's Tony Vitello because he won a championship, Rick, and Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel's done the least amount when you compare them to the other two. But because we love football more, Heupel and company gets more grace because we love football. And that's weird to me. All right, let's go back to the phone.
I want to rant about one more thing that Chip Payne, I think it was Chip that mentioned it on the text box. I like Jimmy Dykes. I do. I enjoy his analysis. I think he does a good job at calling games. He got on my last nerve on Tuesday night. He kept ranting and raving. This is what Chip Payne mentioned on the text box about how Chaz Lanier was playing lackadaisical and soft, and that really annoyed Chip Payne. It annoyed me as well. Chaz did have the one moment to where maybe he could have been more aggressive getting down the floor and attacking the basketball. But Jimmy kept going on and on and on and on and on about how Chaz needed to be more aggressive about getting open. And I'm sitting here watching the game, and Jimmy Dykes is a former college basketball coach at the women's level and knows far more basketball than I do. But I know my eyes. I watch enough basketball to know what an open shot looks like. And Chaz Lanier was getting open shot after open shot after open shot after open shot after open shot. And he was missing them. And Jimmy Dykes kept going on and on and on about how he needs to play harder and work harder to get open shots. I'm like, Jimmy, what game are you watching? Chaz is taking open shots. He's just not making them. Tennessee is getting open shots as a team. They're not making them. What are you talking about? I'm with Chip Payne there. Jimmy Dykes was he was excited for that matchup between Tennessee and Florida on Tuesday night.
Yeah. Let me hit this Beatty Chevrolet text box. The same team that will smash Florida by 20 when they come to Neyland. It's just how basketball works. Oh yeah. I see, Birmingham. You meant the Tommy Bowl Food City Center. I don't know how that game was going to go. I remember when we got beat down physically by Texas A&M. They came to our place and we beat them down. I think that's just a bad matchup for Tennessee, but we'll see. Chip Payne says, what pisses me off is all the talk about Bruce Pearl and how great he was, or he didn't lose like this every time we lose. Ridiculous. My gosh. Folks still on that? Oh, my gosh. You folks.
Not as much as it used to be, but
here. Yeah, let it
there's
go.
at least somebody that mentions it.
Golly, man. Double J says Dubar must have been getting paid by the hour. Oh yeah. Let's take our time let's take our time fixing this highway, boys. We getting paid by the hour today.
By the minute. How many minutes he plays?
like Dubar was like, I'm about to stretch this thing out, man. Oh goodness.
We practice is open to the media today before they leave. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch practice.
Oh, it's gonna be must see TV for sure. Rick gonna be at them today. Nathaniel says I really like Heupel, but it also concerns me that he's seen the level of production and quality receiver and O-line in the last 2 years and doesn't feel like there needs to be a change in staff or philosophy. I guess there's still time to make changes, but I don't feel optimistic there will be. Yeah, like if you don't feel good about the staff, or if you do feel good about staff, then maybe you'll see a change in philosophy. I mean, maybe the philosophy is okay, but the execution is not there. What we do know is it needs to be better, and we'll see how Josh Heupel gets it better. And if he doesn't, then going into 2026 is going to be a very uncomfortable place for Josh Heupel. I'm not saying he's going to be on the hot seat because I don't know that. I just know this climate. I know this climate in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's going to be uncomfortable going into that season if we don't, see better results offensively. Adam says play design goes into that sack number as well. Long developing passing plays, no quick passes. We ran 3 curls and a goal in the second quarter of the Ohio State game. O-line blocked it well, but nobody was open. Well, if the receivers were better, and somebody would have been open. It's a good point by Adam there. QC Rodney, it's clear that Halsley isn't bringing what Golish did to the table. We know Heupel is the real OC and play caller, but he needs someone in the staff that's going to push him and the program to the next level. Look across the college football landscape, and the elite teams just have a better collection of coaches and staff than we do, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. Yeah, I mean, can't argue with you there. I will say the thing that stood out about Golish didn't mind checking you. I think personality-wise, Golish and Halsley are different. I think Halsley and Heupel personality are more similar than Golish. And I think it affects the discipline on offense. That's why you see penalties. You see lack of execution, because that has to be demanded more in practice. If guys are not willing to do it, then you get them out. I mean, Coach Cutcliffe was the best at loving you, being a player's coach, but kicking your butt at the same time. Like, that's hard to do, but Coach Cut did it well. We would run perfect plays. We didn't do like conditioning, and most teams don't do conditioning anyways, like during practice. Or excuse me, after practice, where you line up, you just run. It's kind of built into practice. But we would do perfect plays. And then Coach Cut would define what a perfect play was like, and we had to do a certain amount of them in a row. And if we didn't, we had to start all over. And so Golish was the general. He was that butt kicker. And I don't think they have a butt kicker on offense in the room. On the offense staff, I think everyone's nice. Everyone's too nice. Because Rodney Gardner is the butt kicker on defense. And you can be a butt kicker and have results and not scare dudes away. Because Rodney Gardner is the biggest butt kicker on the staff. And he had more talent and more production than any other group, any other room on the football field or on the football team. So I think that's what the offense is missing. Not enough butt kickers. Hunsucker says, "So I completely hardly agree. Well, LB need to be more complete. That's a great way to put it, but I'll disagree with you about evidence that the O-line will be better. John Campbell is gone. Addition by subtraction to me." Okay. I see where you're coming from. I've been looking at, it's hard to do during the show. Volstorm asked about LB's contract. When does it expire? I do know that they got a raise after the 22 season from $800,000 to $900,000. Don't know if that added on years or what, but listen, man, Heupel and LB are attached to the hip. LB does mean a lot to the running game and the success of the running game. He just has to be better in the other part to be a complete O-line coach. They got to be better at eval and developing, or you will continue to overspend for portal offensive linemen. You'll continue to be in this position where you don't know who's going to be where at offensive line. So, what are the next steps to making us a national contender? Well, we are a national contender, but what's the next step to getting closer? The next step is better eval, better recruiting, better development, better coaching in game, better adjustments. You gotta win a road game at night.
Got to beat Georgia.
You gotta win a road game. You gotta be more disciplined. That's the next step. It's doing what you've already done better than the previous staff, but now you got to do a better job to get to the next point. There's no shortcuts. You have to be better with your in-game adjustments. You got to be better with your game plan versus Georgia. You got to be better on the road. You got to be better in your discipline. You got to be better in your eval. Like, you just got to be better in all those areas. See a question about the Titans. Is it the Titans? Oh,
Titans, oh buddy, I feel for Titans fans.
I do too.
I root for the Titans when they're not playing the Steelers because they are the state team. But I mean, it. Would you say the Titans are? Well, I don't know if I'd say worse. I was going to lean towards it being a worse situation than like the Jeremy Pruitt, Philip Fulmer, lack of leadership up top era. I'd say it's at that level for the Titans now. Like in terms of overall dysfunction, the Titans have reached the Vols level.
No, I would. Titans got 3 levels of it though. You couldn't say that. You couldn't say that about Tennessee. You couldn't question Plowman and Boyd.
No, I'm saying before they got here. Plowman had just gotten here, right?
What do you mean?
What wasn't Davenport in the Chancellor when Pruitt was hired? Bev?
I had to look that up. But you look at the Titans, and
It all starts with the owner.
Owner, GM, coach, like those three level of management leadership, like it ain't ideal. Where when you look at Tennessee, and I know there's an extra one because you got president, chancellor, AD, and head coach. Like Coach Former and Pruitt didn't do the best job, but above Coach Former, when Coach Former was let go, it was Plowman and Boyd. I don't know. I want to say Plowman was here before the Coach Former got here. Okay, 2019.
That was second year of Pruitt.
Yeah. So 2019, she was brought in.
So
right. That 17,
yeah,
18.
The 18 then. Yeah. First year Pruitt was Former, Pruitt, and Davenport. That's why you got the results you got.
Yep.
So, yeah, I feel bad for Titans fans.
That owner's got to go. Ain't nothing changing with the Titans until something happens with her. And you can't fire her or anything. I realize that, but ain't nothing changing until she moves on. It's just one issue after the next for her. Who do you want for the Bears? It's not going to happen because the Patriots are going to get Vrabel, but I would love to see Vrabel in Chicago. I think that'd be a perfect fit.
I don't want him.
Why? You want an offensive guy?
I want an offensive guy to bring Caleb Williams along.
What's your thoughts on Caleb Williams after year one? Still in, but have questions?
Yeah, I'm still in, man. It was so terrible around him. I mean, he did a really good job points during the season. I mean, I just thought he was put in a bad spot.
So, I just don't like his. I don't like his personality. He just rubs me the wrong way.
I don't care.
I don't think when I say that, I don't think he has leadership skills. I think those are lacking, which to be a successful quarterback and win at a high level in the NFL, you have to have. I don't know. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, but I don't. I don't like his intangibles.
Go put the work in and perform. That's all leadership skills you need at his age. Now they grow and get better as you get older, but I want to see what it looks like when they have more people around them. That's what I want to see.
Just beef up the offensive line. He's got plenty of weapons at receiver.
He needs help with the offensive line. Yep. 100%.
I'm not totally out, but I'm not optimistic or optimistic as our guy
I know,
from Huntsville once said.
I know, right? All right, Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, true transparency pricing. This is very, very important. What that means is Hiller will line item what every part of the job is up front. So you, the homeowner, can easily understand what you're paying for and why. For example, itemizing parts and labor separately. No hidden fees, no added costs, no surprises when you get your bill, or you're looking at your bill before you pay when they come to your home. They don't just fix things after just finding them. They only suggest repairs that you actually need. So Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, they've been doing top-tier business for a long time. Been in business since 1990, family-owned and operated. They take care of you on every job, stand behind their work every time. 100% satisfaction guarantee. Happy you'll be, or the service is free. Schedule,
and
learn more at happyhiller.com.
And to get in a home so you can work with Hiller, you need to work with Jennifer Morris of Keller Williams Realty. She is the absolute best in Knoxville, not just because of the business side. She will take care of you there, but because of how personable she is. You will not find a person who cares more in Knoxville in the real estate market about your needs, wants, desires on the market, and she'll do anything in her power to make sure that you are taken care of. And even if she's not able to help you and she doesn't have the answers, she has a million contacts. She can get you headed in the right direction. Fencing, uh, yard stuff. I mean, any and everything that you can imagine. She's got a contact for it, and she can help you get going. She's working with former Tennessee baseball players, former Tennessee baseball player Kristen Stewart, who spent some time in the major leagues. They just closed on a home, and there's plenty of other athletes, current athletes and past athletes that Jennifer is working with. My family trusted her, as y'all know, and a lot of other members of the Swain Event family have trusted Jennifer Morris as well, and you should too, quite frankly.
Love it. Turkey Man asks who is going to take Bob's place.
Yes, Sway. Who's taking Bob's place?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
I do not.
I know.
I do not. Man, they keep that close to the vest, just like Bob's retirement was kept close to the vest. So that's above my pay grade. I don't know. I do not know. As far as Turkey Man's question about Bob, that is replacing Bob Kessling, for those that was wondering what Turkey Man's talking about, the voice of the Vols. So Bob Kessling will finish up as the voice of the Vols through basketball season. He announced his retirement during football season, so they're going to find a replacement. There's a lot of people that want the job. There's a lot of very, very talented and qualified people that are reaching out for the job. But we'll see who's going to be. I do not have any idea who's going to be. I know who everybody's number one choice is, but I don't know who is going to be the replacement.
Make it happen. There's never been a better time to leave the Tennessee Titans for the Tennessee Volunteers.
I know.
We just got done talking about the dysfunction.
It's time.
I believe this person is very, very loyal. I do not have a close relationship with him.
He's a big McKee fan.
He is a Ben McKee fan. He has been nothing but super nice to me over the years, reaching out to me here and there. He's also a big Jason Swain fan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. I would. There's Mike Keith seems to be just the absolute best of the best in terms of just human beings, and I know I would imagine, I have not had any conversations with him about this, but I would imagine that he is very, very loyal to the Tennessee Titans, and rightfully so.
Well, he's with the Vols before he was with the Titans.
He was, but I mean, he spent a lot of years in Nashville at this point, and
well, he started his career in Knoxville, man.
He did, but I imagine it would be a big time emotional move for him. So I imagine that's a really tough decision if he has a decision to make. But if from a Tennessee standpoint, oh man, that'd be home run hire.
Dude,
that would be like
be
hiring John Gruden in his prime to coach Tennessee.
How about we say Andy Reid? Andy Reid, Bill Belichick.
Well, I'm talking about like prime groomers, like when he was.
Oh, you mean groomers? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Like prime groomers.
I understand what you're saying.
That type of home run hire.
I understand.
It'd be awesome though. Mike Keith's awesome. He's great at his job.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it works out that Tennessee can get that one done.
Yep.
Brian Hunsucker seems to think that it is going to happen, and I would say that his source would know that he is his source that he is stating on the text box.
Check your source. Everybody got their own source. Check with your source. How about that? 865-255-03 is our number here to the Swain Event. Tuesday, we'll be back, Ben. We'll be back.
Look, all I know, I have zero hope about the Steelers this weekend. Zero hope. I deserve all the trash talk if they lose after all the trash talk I have spoken about Lamar the last several years. But I'll say this, and Brad Matthews, I hope you're listening. If the Steelers beat the Ravens in the playoffs after all the trash talk I've spoken the last couple of years about Lamar's lack of playoff success, and the Steelers go into Baltimore and beat Lamar to add to his lack of playoff success, you may want to kick me off the show on Tuesday. All right, I'm gonna be walking around like Vince McMahon for 2 weeks.
I won't kick you off the show. I'm gonna turn your mic on, turn mine off. that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let you cook.
Look, I have zero hope. I don't believe at all that the Steelers can win on Saturday night. But if they do, I'm gonna run my mouth.
I understand. Ben McKee, Jason Swain. Ben McKee, Go Vols 247. Jason Swain here in the Low T Center studio. Hope everyone has a great weekend, a safe weekend. Be careful. Supposed to be a huge winter storm hitting us here in East Tennessee and in Tennessee in the next 24 hours. I'm Ron Burgundy.
At some point tomorrow.
So be careful, please. Do not go to the grocery store when I'm at the grocery store, okay? I need y'all to just wait. I'm trying to get these eggs, loaves of bread, milk, without having to run y'all over at the grocery store. So,
Real pro did it last night.
what's that?
A real professional did it last night.
I know, man. I know. I got today
There's
though.
barely any bread left too.
I'm good. I already got the bread. I got enough bread.
Oh, I know you got enough bread.
Nah, not that type of bread. I need some more milk and some more eggs. I'll be good to go, man. French toast for days. Swain Event, fueled by Dead and Barbecue. Hope everyone has a great rest of your Thursday, Friday, weekend, whenever you're listening to this. Thank you for making us a big part of your day. Swain Event Podcast is brought to you by Beatty Chevrolet. Peace and much love. We are out.